Seated at a cozy corner table in the dimly lit restaurant, Van fiddled with her silver necklace, her finger tracing the delicate chain absent-mindedly. She glanced at her watch for what felt like the 100th time, her heart sinking with each passing minute. She had been waiting for what seemed like forever for her boyfriend to arrive. The soft glow of the candle on the table danced in her eyes, casting shadows that mirrored the uneasy awe in her heart. She had known Harry for years and their relationship had always been full of laughter and warmth. But lately, something has changed. His calls became fewer, his smile seemed forced, and there was a distance between them that Ryan couldn't quite grasp. As she picked up her menu and pretended to pursue the option, her thought kept drifting to the recent behavior changes she had noticed in Harry. Was it work stress that was causing this recent moodiness, or was there something more? Ryan bit her lip, her mind swirling into a sea of questions, each way pulling her further away from the sense of security she had once felt with him. Why are you doing this with me, Harry? Do you still love me? 2 hours had slipped by, and the restaurant's once inviting atmosphere had grown suffocating. Ryan's patience had worn thin, and the sinking feeling in her chest had transformed into a mixture of frustration and sadness. She checked her phone once more, but there was no missed call or message from Harry. The uneasy has turned into a gut-wrenching realization that something was serious amiss. Pushing her chair back, Van sighed and stood up, her heart heavy with the disappointment. The table she had been sitting on felt emptier than ever as she left some money to cover the untouched meal. The waitress offered a sympathetic smile, but Van thought was elsewhere. She hailed a cab and gave Harry's address to the driver, her mind racing with the scenarios of what she might find. The ride felt longer than it actually was, her finger tapping restlessly on his thigh as she stared out of the window, lost in her thoughts. Time skip. The car pulled up in front of Harry's apartment building, and Vance paid the driver before stepping out on the sidewalk. Her heart pounded loudly in her chest as she made her way inside the building. The hallway felt eerily quiet as she rode the elevator to his floor. She hesitated for a moment outside Harry's door, her hand hovering over the doorknob. With a deep breath, she turned in and stepped inside. The apartment was dimly lit, and the silence was deafening. "Harry," she called out, her voice quivering with a mixture of hope and fear. The air in the room felt heavy, charged with tension, as fine eyes darted around the dimly lit apartment before her eyes. There was a sight that shattered the fragile remain of her trust. Her boyfriend Harry and her best friend Wendy lay entangled on the bed, their clothes all over the floor, their expression a mix of guilt and surprise as they looked up to see Van standing in the doorway. One breath caught in her throat as the truth hit her like a tidal wave. Her vision blurred with the unshed tears, and she took a step back, her hand gripping the door frame for support. She had never imagined that her world would come crashing down in such a devastating way. "And please, let me explain." Harry's voice trembled as he scrambled off the bed, his eyes pleading with her to understand. It's not what it looked like. Anger and heartache burned with Ryan as she struggled to find her voice. She felt betrayed, as if the ground beneath her had given way. She shook her head, her voice a mixture of pain and disbelief. "How could you, Harry? And you, Wendy?" "I'm sorry, Van." Wendy's voice wailed as she too stood up, her face pale with remorse. "It was a mistake, a terrible mistake. We never meant for this to happen." Wan's hand clenched into fist, her emotion varying within her. She had trusted them both, and now that trust lay shattered, irreparable. Without another word, she turned on her heel and stormed out of the apartment, her wizened blood by tears she refused to shed in front of them. The cold night air hit Wan's face as she stepped out onto the street, her steps unsteady as she walked away from the heartache that now defined her evilly. She needed a distraction, an escape from the overwhelming pain that threatened to consume her. The neon light of a nearby club beckoned to her, and without a second thought, she pushed open the door and stepped inside. The thumping bass of the music involved her, drowning out her thoughts for a brief moment. She headed straight for the bar, needing something to knock the ache inside her chest. Taking a seat on a bar stool, Wan ordered a drink, her fingers tapping restlessly against the counter. The liquid burned its way down her throat, a bitter reminder of the pain that refused to let go. As the alcohol began to take effect, she closed her eyes briefly, trying to escape the reality that had turned her world upside down. The noise of the club, the pulsating light, and the numbing sensation of alcohol were the temporary relief, but they couldn't erase the image that burrowed into her mind. She felt lost, adrift in a sea of emotions that threatened to swallow her whole. As the night wore, Wan's thought drifted between the memories of happier time with Harry and Wendy and the heartbreaking sight that had greeted her earlier. The tears she had holding back finally broke free, streaming down her cheek as she struggled to come to terms with the betrayal that had left her shattered. Wan's surrounding blurred as she droned shot after shot, shaking solace in the numbing embrace of the alcohol. The weight of her heartache seemed lighter with each drink, but the pain still lingered, refusing to be joined. A man approached her, his feature obscured by the thrilling color of the club light. He leaned against in the bar next to Wan, his eyes fixed on her, a faint smile tugging at the corner of his lips. "Rough night?" he asked, his voice barely audible above the music. Wan looked at him, her gaze unfocused. She tried to offer a weak smile, her voice tinged with a bitterness. "You have no idea." He chuckled softly, the sound carrying an air of empathy. "I've been there. Mind if I join you?" Wan hesitated for a moment, her thoughts swirling. She knew she needed distraction, a break from the thought that threatened to consume her. She gestured toward the empty stool beside her with a shrug, a silent invitation. As the stranger settled onto the stool beside her, Wan's gaze shifted from her glass to the dance floor. The bass-heavy music pulsed through her veins, and she watched as bodies moved in rhythm with the beat. A small fire of determination sparkled within her. Their connection was brief, the stranger's word a comforting backdrop to her thought. But when he eventually leaned in, his expression more suggestive. Wan shook her head and leaned back, a determined glint in her eyes. "I appreciate the company, but I'm not here for that," she said friendly, her voice cutting through the haze of the club. The man smiled further. "Are you sure this?" With that, Wan took a deep breath, her heart pounding as she pushed herself off the stool. She downed her remaining drink and made her way to the dance floor, her steps guided by a mixture of defiance and a desire to reclaim control. Wan closed her eyes for a moment, allowing the music to seep into her veins. The rhythm of the bass pushed in time with her heartbeat, and with each moment she shed a layer of pain and heartache. She let go of her invasion, embracing the freedom that dance floor offered.
Try to fight it, but you can't even feel it. Try to deny it, but it's coming for someone you love. Not the wisest to deceive her. Can I hide away? But